Listen, JD, listen. We've got 5 days of this. I said it yesterday. The competition, it's growing on me. It's kind of, it's small, it's intimate. I like the small stadiums. I liked how when Uganda played Canada, they filled the stadium behind so they can watch Uganda and watch Africa do something fun. But at the end of the day, is the football living up to the standards of the U17s? We're going to talk about day 5. CONCACAF teams, you had a day. You had some good, you had some bad. African sides, you also had some good and some bad. But we're here to talk about it here. We have JD from the WeMax Football channel here, back like he never left, as we like to say, like he never left before. But U17's World Cup. There's a lot of youth World Cups. The finals for the women's U17 is Saturday, tomorrow. Good luck to the Netherlands, the Dutch. You're playing North Korea. Good luck with that. But JD, we're here. Men's U17s. How have you liked it so far? What has stood out to you? Welcome back. We've missed you.
Thanks for having me, sir. Africans. Yes, we are Batman. Obviously, we had emergencies and stuff, and
Mm.
that always comes first. But obviously, we are still getting in more videos, so that's a good thing. It might come to the norm. It might go back to the normal settings, but let's see. So far, youth 17s, I kind of like it because what it's doing, it's showing levels. It's showing levels because I remembered maybe a year ago when you said to me, the teams are much more closer at certain levels. I think I'm seeing separation at youth levels as well. So
Mm.
and when you talk to me about the expansions, I think you're going to see some separations
Mm.
in this expansion because I think the bigger nations are actually ramping up their development and it's actually showing like proper football against physicality because athleticism people usually use to try and bridge the gap and scam football for a long time. And
Mm.
what I'm seeing now, the younger kids have these level of education from so early. You can't scam football anymore, and I'm glad because I'm tired of these scammers that just comes in football and act like they're track athletes and they don't have any other ability. So I'm glad that we're seeing it now, and we needed that a long time. So we have coaches that stops letting down the kids. You understand me? Yes. So
Mhm.
I am happy to see you. I am happy with what I'm seeing. Not just this one. I saw the U20s was impressive. The U17s girls were impressive as well, and it's still showing the same thing. The scammer coaches and the scammer athletes that relies only on athleticism will get exposed, and I am here for it, and I love it because what that will do, it will help the football itself.
Mm.
Every team will have to get the right coaches to develop their football and not just come here because you think you can run leave people. You understand me? That doesn't work because I'm tired of these scammers. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Like he never left. He's back with the fire, a hungry fire, I would say, nonetheless. But the fire,
Yes,
nonetheless,
hungry, literal hungry fire, and
literal
hungry for the
hungry.
football fire as well.
If they knew I was keeping you from food, but we are on match day twos for the second set of groups. But before we talk about the Concacaf teams and things that happened today, like teams that have stood out for you so far in this competition, whether any sides or any players for you that have caught your. I know you've caught a couple games here, but what
Mhm,
is?
mhm.
I know you talked about the coaching, but what about players? What about on the pitch? Forget from the sidelines. Are there teams that you are liking the football that they are being played for you? Who has stood out for you?
I have several players that I like, and sadly, a lot of them came in from Manchester City. All right,
Mm,
England had a star-studded squad. It never worked out in the first game, but clearly, it looks like a lot of these players needed more reps. and I think they're going to push on. I don't normally like England team, but I think they play football very simple this time around. They were trying to make it as complicated as possible, and people trying to play individual football, maybe rely too much on athleticism. Well, I think now they have put it together. Obviously, it was just 80 they are playing. Sad to say that, but it was just 80 they are playing, and I don't think 80 was on the same level as them. Um, they could have it could have been even worse.
Mm,
SK is a very talented kid, a very talented player. Unselfish, education to the T. Edley, I like that player. Edley and Brathwaite. Brathwaite is a centre back. I really like him. So three from England's team. I do like right there. Mexico seems to. I think Mexico is just the best football nation in the CONCACAF. Period. I know that United States will feel away or Canada, but Mexico, they work for everything. They even if they're gonna lose the game, Mexico is the bar for the CONCACAF. Mexico
mm,
plays in every single game. You understand me? Yes, and they have shown me in the ladies, they have shown me in the men, and I am still impressed with them again. All right, I have three players on Mexico's team that I like. Gamboa number 7, like him. Garcia, and you have one named Corona. Corona, yes, he plays inside. Today was not his best game, but he's a very much technical centre back to elevate the team to a different level. So I really like the way he plays at this age. And he's one of the players them that tells me that this is not no oh, they're all 16. No, 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 no.
mhm,
They are professionals. And you are just a schoolboy running up and down. You understand me? Yeah. So I
yeah.
do like those players.
No, I think the thing that I've liked is you can tell the teams who, and it's interesting. I kind of try to say it over the few days. You're seeing the trickle down, whether it's from what your national team plays like to how that compares to and how that is similar to how they're playing at the youth level. You're seeing sides who they look like they've been together for a bit, right? And that's always good to see that cohesion with it. And so, like you said, players are always going to stand out at these levels. I had a conversation with one of my mates, and we were talking about, and I was saying, I think I said it wrong, but what I was really trying to say is I like the U17 more than the U20 because I find that when players stand out at this level, it's a better indicator for just like solid names that you've heard in the future, right?
Oh
If you
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
If you look at you for whatever reason, we look at U17s when they pop off at the U17 tournament or in competitions, you see their names in club squads, whether that is like top 5 leagues or you're familiar with them. Maybe they're on a side that has a deep Champions League run or the likes. You see those names. You're not always going to have a Messi, or I think the biggest name we've seen so far is like a Tony Cruz come through the U17s. But all the names you see are like, okay, that's a player who was at the Prem for like 4 years. Okay, you see a lot of people look at this, and this is a whole conversation when it comes to youth football. It's a lot of tournament scouting. You know, a club is watching this and say, you know what, this child from Indonesia, I think he should come to our academy. Let's because he had a good run. Phil Foden's another good name, Prince Hood as well. Players who have popped at this level. I think even Raheem Sterling. Even that's the I know Raheem Sterling specifically because that's the game that they drew Canada 2-2 in that year. I think it was 2011. That's a game where the
Mhm.
goalie from Canada scores the goal from the other side of the world. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm gonna pick it
Uh,
up and come.
yeah. Mhm. But I think that is why I just truly do appreciate and love watching the U17s. Not everyone's gonna turn out to be that level, but you like to see it. It's a lot more consistent in terms of players popping and then turning into consistent day in day out weekend fixtures in top leagues than say the U20s. For whatever reason that is, maybe it's just they're a little bit further into the development, or maybe in those moments we're able to put them into developmental clubs, academies where they can push themselves a little bit further. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on and something why I enjoy kind of how it's gone through. So that is where it is. We're going to go through some comments before we talk about the games because I know we have much to talk about in terms of games that are here. Son, good to see you. Yes, you did. I think that's one of the most surprising results yesterday. Japan drawing New Caledonia. I expected Japan to do well. Now, again, if you look at the numbers of the game, it was fully dominated by Japan, but you got to score goals to get the points, and you keep yourself alive in that game. Now, because again, JD, 8 of the top 12 third place sides are moving on to the round of 32, which
Mm-hmm.
is a weird thing to say. I'm still used to saying the round of 16. So the round of 32, and it's a nice precursor to what you might see in the World Cup, where a draw keeps you alive and maybe a win. Just one win, it might be enough to get you to that next stage, and then from there you go. We saw this in the women's U17s. The Netherlands won their first game over Cameroon. They lost their next few, and
Mm-hmm.
then they just survived and advanced. They got past the bigger sides, and now they're in the finals playing tomorrow. So getting to the knockout sometimes is all that matters, and then you can figure it out defensively where you're going and what you're trying to do. Prince Hood here, good to see you as well. Haiti lost 8-1. We'll talk about it. Don't worry. We will talk about it. And then yes, Phil Foden is another one of those names that has shown again at the U17 level, shown really well. And then we see him as a regular fixture on weekend football at a top club. That is certainly something we want to highlight. That's why I like the U17 levels. But Haiti's top of mind. We might as well just get this out of the way here. So yes, Haiti in their second game, I thought maybe they had a chance, depending how England would look. Venezuela beat England in the first matchup, and then Haiti, unfortunately, fell in a game that felt close but really wasn't. And let's be honest, it wasn't that close. 8-1 is the score. I would give you all the goals, but the screen is too small to give me all the goals. But Franco Celestin for Haiti, IHC in the 17th minute. When you look at Haiti's performance here, what are your thoughts, JD? What are your thoughts in terms of how Haiti looked
Um,
against England and all the likes?
as you know, I've been crowned as a nation, and
Mm,
I praise being a nation because I do believe that they are actually hardworking people that
mm,
wants to go the right way. But in the Caribbean, we just have a lot of people that shortcuts a lot of things. And at this point, I think the Caribbean should just play the Caribbeans, to be honest. I don't think they're on the levels of a lot of teams. You understand me? Like, if we're going to do certain things, we have to get these kids properly prepared. And I think maybe Edie is the first first drop in the reality bucket of the expansion, which I don't think it's close. It was close, none at all. Like, even when Edie was running up and down trying to fire shots, just trying to kick the ball away,
mm,
um, it was not close at all. Every time England passed the ball, it was purposeful. Africans, they were
mm,
passing the ball, they were moving, they were going to that spot, and there was not an Asian at any point to try and stop them because they were so clueless. You understand me?
mm,
At least 80 made the Youth World Cup, and that is England at the end of the day. So that makes my point. That makes my point, Princewood. This was not Princewood. I'm an Asian. That's what they called me. So I want 80 to do well. So please, you see the attack. What they attacked me just a while ago. At least 80 make the World Cup. That is our low bar that we have as a region. You understand me, Africans? That is
mm,
our low bar that we have as a region. It should not be Asian. It should not be England, Africans.
mm.
Venezuela never said it was going to be England. Venezuela never said it was going to be England.
Looks like we lost JD for a second here. But kind of build off of that point. I think this first year, as it might be a little harsh to look at it this way, but it's let's see what the levels actually are. And this was a part of the conversation that we kind of had when we were looking at, say, the Women's World Cup when they expanded their field? Would it be just a bunch of teams? I remember that when they went from 24 to 32. The conversation was, "Oh no, USA just put 16 on Thailand. Now we're going to add more teams. The Philippines, what are they going to do? You're going to add more African sides, more sides. Haiti, Panama. No one looked bad." But I think at this level, to echo what JD is saying, I think you do see the difference in terms of the 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 football education when it comes there, right? And I think that is true in terms of what you're saying. I think the expectation is kind of what it is, right? I mean, as there are sides that came here and you expected, maybe they are the tide where you're going to lose. Maybe this is the side that's going to be the get well game, right? Those are the sides that you come in and say, okay, maybe you look at New Caledonia, but then at the end of the day, New Caledonia showed well. Maybe you think Indonesia's that side. I didn't think Haiti would be that side, but when you look at the group that they played as, and then when you like you were saying, JD, when you compare the styles, it's both a reminder that hey, development, though it's not linear, you need you need proper development coming through. You need the right education for football because when you play a side that will be in the spaces that they need to be in, right? When they pass, like I was talking about, I was talking with one of the groups when for Canada's game against Uganda. Uganda was all over Canada in the first half, but there were moments in the first half where Canada just said, "You know what? Instinct takes over. We're going to pass our way through this pressure." And then it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next thing you know, the center back has the ball. Uganda are running to get into place, and Canada's trying to build off the other side. I'm like, okay, you have those moments. Now you need more of them, right? I think what we're seeing here is there's different levels, there's no doubt, but it just emphasizes the importance of getting that right footballing IQ, that right footballing education from these levels, because that's what some of these teams have. This is what some of these players do have. And until you equal that out, you're always going to have some. Now, maybe every once in a while, one side, will athletically get past another side. You'll transition your way through and you'll win. But for the most part, right now, it is kind of showing the football cultures, the football academies, the football educations, the haves and the haves not right now. And that doesn't mean it can't change, but it means this is where it is. And now you kind of have a feeling of where the gap needs to be closed, and where if you're a federation watching this and saying, okay, we can probably make this again next year. But how are we going to make sure we've picked the right type of player so that we don't have the same 8-1 results, that we don't have the same 4-0 results? And again, this is not a Haiti conversation, but this is a overall conversation for all the sides
Yes,
that are
yes, yes.
there.
Of course, of course, of course, of
Mhm.
course. And pretty much remember Africans and people inside the chat. My point is not just off this one game. That's a frustration coming out of me because I've seen enough of our people playing football, and they seems to always try to cheat the game,
Mhm.
especially when we pick up someone from our people to say that we're going to use them as a coach. They tend to cut all corners, and when we go out there, we just doesn't look like we know anything, or we're always relying on athleticism. And to
Mhm.
be the problem is other people are athletic as well, but they are more educated, and we have to just say it as is. They are more educated. So we need to educate the kids them, and we need to stop set the bar so low.
Mhm.
You understand me? So what are we going to wait on? We have to have 4 Caribbean teams in one group in the U17s to say that we can come out, because we have to fight against each other. So that is a very low bar, because that's the only time I see the Caribbean excited of making anything Africans, because
Mhm.
that's the only thing they can only time they can make anything is when everybody is the Caribbean. So one of them has to make it. You understand me? That's a
Mhm.
low bar, Africans. And as I said, when you have proper football education, anything can turn out. New Caledonia, if you look at the football that they play,
Mhm.
it makes sense why they could get something. You
Mhm.
understand me? Because they are making sure if you are not on your best day, at least they present some difficulties so to make your day even worse.
Mhm.
What I'm seeing with these teams, they use athleticism and wing transition. So even your best day, you just make the pitch compact. and they just frazzled out on the wings and wishful thinking, whipping crosses. The same thing Nigeria ladies did. Young kids, they have no ideas. But that means you never had a game plan, and those things have to work on. Those things have to improve.
Hmm.
Because this is a low bar, man. When I'm watching high level football, when I'm watching the English kids, them, the Spain kids, them, you can just see that they're thinking.
Mm,
The coach don't have to always draw them and say you need to do this. They're saying, okay, coach, I saw that. What else you need me to do? You need me to activate phase 4 or phase 3? There is no phases in the Caribbean. None. Not even the coach of a phase. You understand me? Nobody. Just run up
mm,
and down and have some fun. Well, that is canning football, and we need to at least, we are getting the money, at least present something. I'm
mm.
very disappointed, you know?
No, and again, you're going to see that gap coming in through. I mean, Prince Hood brings up a point, and there's levels to this, which is something we're echoing here. Look at Honduras there. There's the football is clearly superior to us in the Caribbean, as he says, but they are failing in the U17 as well. What does that show you? Maybe we are not as good as we think. It very well could be there, but it also comes down to there's levels to it. There's a style of play that works, but then you also need a style when you play against a side that can beat that. That's different, right? The wingers will always look great at youth tournaments because those are where you're always going to that's where you're always going to put all the emphasis, right? Put the ball out wide, let someone create something, whipping across. That's the money, right? For lack of better words, those are the glamour muscles, right? Those are the glamour muscles when you go to the gym, the wingers and the like. But at this level, the thing that is intriguing to me, I'll use the Canadian game. Like, yes, they win. Kevin Kahn, who probably he's playing Feyenoord, probably has the best going. He's been in that academy. When the game isn't working, some may say he's doing too much, but in the moments, you're like, okay, no, that stands out because that is exceptional. You're seeing where the pressure is. You're breaking it down. Youth tournaments, the glamour is on the wings, but the meat and potatoes is in the midfield. The meat and potatoes, that's where you want to find someone and say, okay, this player is really popping well. And this is where, for me, it's more fascinating to take a look at. Okay, yes, your wingers, like, look at this England game. The entire left side of England's starting 11 just said we'll have two, we'll each have a brace. But to me, it's the middle, right? To me, it's the middle. It's Walsh. You're the person who's dictating how the game is playing. Yes, you might be making the choices, put the ball out wide. But to me, the meat and potatoes, if you're fighting, it's always going to be the middle and the midfield. Outside of that, right? Outside of the levels of that, what else is standing out to you in this competition? I know we still have Haiti on the board here, but what else is
Yeah.
standing out to you here in terms of just play and all those things?
I would say the tactics from the
Mm,
coaches are impressive, because that really drove the point home that I was trying to say to you. Because
mm,
remember, for 2 years straight, he told me that it's kind of much more closer, because teams that are technical, it's hard for them to evade the physicality. You understand me?
mm,
But I think that I'm impressed with the coaching, a lot of tactics, and the players' ability to carry out these box sixes and stuff. I was very much impressed with Mexico, and I was impressed with England, because it was just literal football education. Stand in these spots, let them move around, because they play anxiety football. The Caribbean plays anxiety football. That means
mm,
they're just moving off their emotions and how they feel. It's just the vibes. You understand me? So if you move to the actual coordination, you will always be in that place. And they did that, and some of these goals just became tap-ins. You understand me? Because they are
mm,
moving, and these guys are just playing anxiety football. So I think it's a coaching I like. I like.
mhm.
Um, I saw it was it Morocco game. Morocco game.
Mhm.
That one never end well for Morocco, but
No.
even that game was still a good setup game. You can just see that the Moroccan squad development, maybe those players have not reached where the coach wants them, but you can still see the principle of football. You understand
Yeah.
me? Yes.
Mhm.
So I think I'm a lot on the coaching in this one. I really love what I'm seeing. And if this is what football is going to give us at youth 17s, because I do agree with you, for previous years, it looks like everyone was closer and Spain was just a juggernaut with passing
Yeah.
football. You understand me? Yes. But no, I can see that a lot of people learning the football at an earlier age, and it's going to be a lot more upsets. So more teams are going to get closer to Spain and beat them, not just with a flash in the pan athleticism team, but
Mhm.
actual football playing and counter pressing and those styles to beat them because they have control of the football. So I like what I'm seeing. I am pretty much I'm pretty much amazed, and I'm going to be watching it even over some big games.
No, but that's true. And again, the thing that you brought up, you see the styles, but you're almost seeing like that trickle down of this is the national style. Like you know what you're
Yes,
getting when you're
yes.
playing a Moroccan side, right? Whether it's
Mm-mm,
the
yeah.
U17s, the U20s, or the seniors are a little bit more pragmatic. They can play however they want, but when you get to the lower levels, that's how the U20s were. Solid defensively, counter, be lethal there and go. In this competition, they've just not been clinical, right? And so they lose a game to Portugal 5-6-0. But like
Mm-hmm.
you look at the principles of what they're trying to do, and like I like this chart whenever I look at games because it gives me an idea. So this is the Portugal matchup, but like right red is Morocco, white is Portugal. This is how most of Moroccan sides are. Your backside are sitting back, countering, you're trying to get one of your wingers or your forwards into space that builds up to let either a striker or a winger get into those spaces, and then you try to create from there. They're going to defend. That's what they are. And you see that across the board. That's the education. That's what they're trying to build within that aspect. And so it's not a surprise you like to see that. And you see that with other sides. Like you kind of see England trying to resemble, but they're a little bit different now because how did I already forget his name? How their coach
It's
wants to
like
play. Right? Yeah.
yeah, for England system, it's slightly different because
Yeah.
most of these players are mixed. So Manchester City, Arsenal, Chelsea, you have a Brighton there, you have a Fulham there, you have a few Tottenham there. So some of them kind of don't grasp it as yet because
Mhm.
England's system kind of changed a lot more than a Spain or a Morocco. Yes, I do agree. So Spain, England is trying to get an identity, but I don't think it's stapled there as yet, in my opinion.
No, that's most definitely true there. And so they continue to grow, they continue to go out. Other matchups today that I think really were good. I know we're talking CONCACAF, and I might as well bring up another CONCACAF matchup. Zambia getting by Honduras pretty comfortably. Though Honduras, though, they had a little bit of a stretch here coming out of the second half where they were able to cut it to one. But then Zambia, for the most part, again, Honduras at this level, this is very consistent to what they are at even at the national level, where they're solid defensively, trying to create a counter and win. But a Zambia side, I mean, I will say this: the 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 COSA, the southern, central, and southern African sides of this tournament, South Africa's looked good, Uganda's looked good, um, Zambia have looked good. You're kind of built for okay. If you want to give us the ball, we can pass through, or we will stretch the game enough where you have to come out, and then we'll find the pockets and go through. Did you catch any of the Zambia
I
Honduras?
saw the highlights. I saw the
Yeah.
highlights.
Mhm.
Typical Honduras style of playing.
Yeah.
Um, but Honduras, you can clearly see that they, as what I've said, this is how the Zambia can look win. But
Hmm.
if these Honduras players have reached the level to match the system, Zambia would have had no chance
Hmm.
because they are relying on much more athleticism for me. Same way. But obviously, this is how it goes when because are and this is a perfect game. But I'm going to watch it again to break it down even more.
Yeah.
But what I saw from it, I saw that okay, this is a weaker Honduras team. So the traps them they can't set because the players are just not up to the speed. They're not closing down fast enough and they're not
Hmm.
building fast enough. But the intention is there, just like Morocco. But well, that's where the Zambia athleticism, wide channels work because you are slowing. you're slowing down in all of your actions. So you're just taking advantage of that. But give these same guys a next cycle, and they're going to come and look completely different because they're working on something. So I can see something for them. And credit to Zambia. Zambia saw what they are presenting, how slow they are at certain things, and tried to cut down the wings. So they have to keep as narrow as possible. So their counterattacks couldn't get up, and they have to put it in the air. And the Zambians are already physical and could have closed that down. So they kind of nullified Honduras based on what I saw, because I was
Mm.
seeing it in cuts up around 15 minutes or so. And that guy is doing a good job,
Yep.
because sometimes I don't have to watch the game, and they kind of give me a 15 minutes breakdown, piece, 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 piece. So they did a good job to close them down. But if it was a much more progressive Honduras team, they could have gone through their cycles a lot better and get through that wide channel, fight for the wide channel a lot better. But they are not as technical as the previous Honduras teams. So it
Hmm.
really cost them in this game. Because they can't, they never could have dealt with physicality, but no, they got barred in. Yeah, and they gotten taken care of, you know?
Yeah, a lot of touches and a lot of action. I mean, when you look at some of the stats I always highlight when it comes to those games is how many touches are happening in the box, how quickly are you moving through, and that to me just says if you're pushed back that deep, right? If you look at a stat, Zambia had 42 touches in the box versus 16 for Honduras, which
Yes, yes,
I,
yes,
I,
yes,
at
yes.
that point you're just being pushed back. That's defensive style, but that's getting pushed a little bit too deep. You're hoping maybe a little bit more pushback from Honduras based off the Honduras we know in CONCACAF. Honduras at this youth level is a top three team. like
Yes,
it,
yes, yes, yes. Normally,
mhm.
normally,
Indeed, indeed. We look like ooh, this is an
normally,
interesting.
normally.
Yeah, normally they do. This is an interesting question for you, JD. And I,
Cuba plays
yeah.
good football. Cuba plays
Mhm,
good football. Over the last 2 years, they have a good setup. But I don't think anybody in the Caribbean can compete with Haiti. Haiti have been the best Caribbean developing team for the longest time, like forever, to be honest.
mhm,
So Haiti is the best. Haiti win almost every U15s, compete in all U17s, compete with the other bigger nations. But I like the programs Cuba have now. Cuba
mhm,
from U17s go straight up to the main team. They have a good program. But 80, I don't think is a competition. 80 really got set back because of the problems in their country. But they always deliver. It's just because it's on this level. I had to call it out to show it that it doesn't translate, and that's why we should set a higher bar. So Haiti is one of the best in our region, and look how people dealing with them. Yeah, it would have, if it was other teams, it would have been worse. Believe me, it would have been 20. You know.
mhm. No, I think I've liked what like Cuba have been, I think since probably 22, right? When we and probably before that, but their last few youth teams, they are a side that they're that side that's going to finish second in the group if not first because they're always well schooled. You know what you're getting from them and they're just a feisty bunch. And so I would probably lean with you and say Cuba out of those two, though I mean Haiti for what they have at their disposal, what they're able to output, you certainly want to give them that credit. But in terms of just sides, I find the Cuban sides more recently in the last couple of years, the last 3 years, they are far more
Yeah, yeah,
consistent.
that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Last 3 years, we saw something different from out of their academy, and I like
Mhm.
it, but we can't throw away 80. We have to give them their respect because they kept getting adversities and they kept pulling out, winning everything.
Mhm.
Those youth 15s, we can't count them out. Youth 17s, they still won everything. Everything they go in, nobody beats them. So
Mhm.
if these teams can't beat them, we have to give them credit. Yeah, that's all I was saying. Princewood, please listen to me. I gave Trinidad a lot of credit yesterday, and I said Cuba really looks good, but overall, 80 is not a competition because 80 have been very good for like forever in our region. That's all
Mhm.
I've said. Oh my God, Africans, maybe I need to say what you say.
What do I say? I should say
No,
words.
maybe I need to phrase it the same way as you,
Oh,
because Prince Hood is
oh.
just fighting for no reason, you know.
All right, Roberto Ruiz Campbell, good to see you here as well. Reach that. Son says Dominican Republic is a good shout. They made the
Yeah.
Olympics. This is
They
true.
are on the rise, just like Cuba, just like
Hmm.
Cuba. But my
Yeah.
statement about 80 people was solely to say that they are the crowned best developer in the region, in the Caribbean, based
Hmm.
on history. But if you look at Panama, what Panama doing now, when you look at what Damrep doing now, what Cuba doing now, we are going to
Hmm.
have a different conversation. That's all I was saying. I was not
Hmm.
hyping up 80. I just said,
Even in the region, like even Central America, a team like Guatemala, who I mean, they've also had like a nice little cycle of solid teams as well, the youth. So I mean, you can never. There's a lot of sides that have improved. Let's be very honest. A lot of the sides have improved. It's not that the typical USA, Mexico. Then you see like your Costa Ricas who do what they do. They're always going to be a side that you have to take advantage of and just kind of give, not acknowledge them, not take advantage of, acknowledge them in their sense. In this tournament, Venezuela have been very impressive. That's the thing. Like in this tournament, it's like the UEFA teams have been fairly consistent, and then the South American sides, like if you're a top side, if you're a big name, quote unquote, like Brazil and Argentina have been up to the park. Colombia have been hit or miss, and then Venezuela has been the surprise. And then the African sides, it's I would say it's the teams you didn't expect to be this strong. Because I mean, having watched the U17s, their qualifiers, I,
yes.
I,
Well, Africans, once you finish, I'm going to step in and tell you something. You're going to laugh until you die. But continue.
right? And then so you get to the African sides. Like I didn't think Zambia would be that good. Uganda made it off of a playoff round, and yes, they've only played one game, but I mean they can be nothing but proud of that performance. But you expected Morocco to be a little bit better. They haven't performed well. But then the Zambias, Cote d'Ivoire, you expected to be a little bit better, but they've looked good, just don't have the results to show for it. So then that's a mixed bag. Oceanic has been, I mean, New Caledonia have shown to be feisty and tough. So you're kind of getting like your normal, I wouldn't say normal hierarchy, but the hierarchy of confederations has pretty much stayed the same. But there's some surprises within them as they kind of go. And I feel like this is what you want to talk about, JD. So I'll put it there
No,
for
no,
that.
no, no. It
Okay,
isn't. No,
okay,
it wasn't that, man. You
okay.
just said some of the people coming in out from Africa wasn't
Yeah.
expected.
Yes.
Guess what I saw again? Nigeria posting who performed the best in U17's World Cup. You see what I'm talking about? These people in charge of the low standard regimes. You understand what I'm saying? You say instead of you try to get better and have a standard, you are trying to confuse your people.
Look, no one's gonna take away from Nigeria's long list of trophies at the U17 level. Has that translated to World Cup success? Has that consistently translated to AFCON success? No
Thank
one
you.
no one's going to doubt the talent pool that they create. No one's ever going to say, "Oh, Nigeria doesn't have talent." That's not the question we're saying. We were going to say, has that translated overall? And so far, a mixed bag would be kind. To say it's been a mixed bag would be kind because they're a team that, for the amount of talent that they have, it makes no sense why they underperform. But when you look at the kids coming up, yeah, they're always that good. They're always that good. We won't talk about their senior team just because you rank that. Okay, yeah, this is true, JD. This is the standard part of the program where I complain about Nigeria. Yeah, they're doing so well. They're doing
No, no,
so
I
well.
got to agree with it. When I saw it, when I saw the post, I'm saying it's like I realize
Mhm.
the entitlement is what stop us from being. We don't evolve as a people,
Mm,
and that's why we're not evolving in the game. Because remember, people we tend to separate football from real life, but it's the life that you live. If you watch the Barcelona players, it's the way they live, the principles that they take into the games.
mhm.
You understand me? You are trying to deceive people. So that means you're going to try and do, you're going to try and hire the coach that you think you can just get away with something Africans. And you know what happened? That coach can't deliver what the players need to go on top. You understand me? That's how
Hmm.
the train of thing works. So when I saw it, man, I was so disgusted, man. Congratulate the other teams from Africa that makes the World Cup and shut up and hire a proper coach and stop hiring this coach that doesn't know nothing at all. He's the coach. He remind it. The federation remind me of somewhere else, but I will not speak. You
Is
understand me? Yes.
can I ask it this way? Is it a real place? Is it a
No, it's
real
not a real
place?
place.
Okay,
No,
okay,
and
okay.
I'm rapidly realizing that Nigeria ain't a real place either. You understand me? Yes. So I am I might be quiet, but I'm learning so much,
Mm,
and I can see why it's hard for all of these teams to go places, because the people that is in charge, their standard is so low, because they are fighting with somebody in their region, just their
mm,
rivals. That's all they care about, and scam their people. You understand me? They don't have no standard to go to the top. So credit to Morocco and those teams that comes in and they want to go to the top. You understand me? You
mm.
have to have standard, man. It's a disappointment, man. You know, because as you said, these people have true talent. Yeah, you can see some talents, because when they actually go into clubs that's playing football, they saw that they improved.
Mhm. That that is true. That Boss Thomas, if you know, you know. That's if you read the tea leaves, you know what I'm saying. That's what we'll leave it there. We've talked about this. So and TNT J is doing nothing. Even El Salvador are making youth cups, and we need to step up. Yes, I think you need to step up. Even a side like Canada, like let's be real. Like I made a joke with one of my friends. Canada at the UC17 level, we were San Marino. We just went there, we pick up maybe a draw, and we lose all the games. They finally won a game. But even within that, just because you win a game doesn't mean, okay, see, we've succeeded. No, you have to look at, there are many questions when it comes to development at the youth level, when it comes to getting proper coaching on all levels, not just big clubs and academies. There's always room to improve. And that's both on the federation, but that's on clubs as well. You have to improve so that you're stock, because everything trickles back down to you, and that really is important for what you're looking at. Just to look at some of the other games that happened here today really quickly. We talked about that. El Salvador drew Colombia. I think that's a good result for them. They're still
Mm-hmm.
alive now. Again, 1 point keeps you alive. 3 and 4 points could get you to the round of 34. North Korea, Germany drawing 1-1.
That's a
Germany
good
has two
result.
draws. That's a good draw. That's a
Mm-hmm.
good result. But Germany only has 2 points so far. Egypt, 4 points. Venezuela, 4 points as well. Though that red card, we'll take a look at that in a minute to see. And then another draw, Mexico versus Cote d'Ivoire. Like we mentioned that earlier,
Ah,
Mexico weren't Cote d'Ivoire weren't bad, but Mexico just
no.
got the result, right?
Yeah, Cote d'Ivoire was relying on physicality as normal,
Hmm.
and Mexico was actually trying to um, retain the ball, as what you said.
Yes. And within that, then it just became, and that's how you beat a team. Like the easiest way to beat a side that wants to be a transition side is to give them the ball and say, no, 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 be patient, right? That you're not gonna we're not gonna play an up and down game. We're just gonna be patient here. So
Yes,
you try to
come up
break
the
us down
pitch.
passing,
Yes,
you do
we
that,
take the
right? It's
ball and we'll play through you. Yeah,
yes, and then
because
they
you're
become and Mexico, and again with their coach for the last few years, that's how Mexico was playing. They're saying, look, we'll be solid defensively, and then we'll take our 1 or 2 opportunities, we'll convert them, we'll win the game 1-0, maybe 2-0, maybe 2-1, and then that's how the game will go from there. So not bad. Is it either or thing with physicality and retention, or can a team have both? Of course, a team can have
of course a
both.
team of both. South Africa
Yes.
has both.
Hmm.
You understand me? The thing is, what we're trying to say is we have teams that they never I think you know this as well. They never tried anything else. So the one thing you have when you're born was like when we're born, we're born with much more muscular tone. So
Hmm.
the physicality would have built there. So because you have the lack of education in the sport, you just rely on what you have as to what could have improved you. So retention is way more have to do with education. You understand me? So obviously, you want. I've always said once a African team can mix retention, education with physicality, that's the time I think they are closer to winning a World Cup. But
Hmm.
as soon as once you stay in this physicality realm, it just tells me that it's just a substitute to tell me that you don't want to hire a coach or you don't want to play real football. That's what I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I can get what you're saying there. Jason follows up with that. So if a team has one or the other, is it really lack of development because you stay stagnant? Well, if a team has one or the other, can you identify that you need to improve on the other aspect of it? If a team is really more of that built to be transition, high
Hmm.
pressing, that are they able? I mean, this is a national team conversation, say with Canada, right? We want to play the
Hmm.
high pressing, but when it comes to seeing out the game, when it comes to getting a 1-0, are you able to pass through, be patient, and then lock a game down for more than a half? Are you able to do that? Or are you just committed to the style of, okay, no, 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 we have the goal, okay, but we're going to keep on pressing, 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 going from there? I think that is a combination of coaching, but then that's also a coach who maybe either feels that they can't push to that next level and chooses not to, or a coach that is just too stubborn and saying we're going to win this way because it is successful, right?
No, but Africans,
Yeah.
every coach, once they have a system, they
Hmm.
should have the way of of closing down. So if
Mm.
you start with the high press, naturally you will come back to a mid block, because if you got the high press is just to close down the next team, because
Hmm.
you might believe that they can't work in the half spaces as fast as possible. So you want them to take more touches, so they have much more chance to create an error. That's what
Hmm.
you're doing, That's
Yeah.
that's what Hypers is about. So you dropping off is because you had the ability, because you knew that you could have Hypers and get the ball, i.e. Arsenal. Arsenal is a perfect example. What Jason, why Arsenal never won anything? Because they couldn't mix the physicality with the technical ability. A coach came from Pep Guardiola. He got the knowledge of technical ability, but he never
Hmm.
knew how to mix the physicality with it. They had the physical players, but he couldn't coach it in them. Now they are doing both of them, and they look much more superior. They are winning
Hmm.
games on less technical side and physical side, because half of their goals they scored is on physical side. But Arsenal wouldn't have won that 2 years ago. So it can be coached and it can be implemented as well. It's just a
Hmm.
coach have to have all of their phases. The main, and your team of the team that you're playing has to match the way you want to approach it as well. So
Hmm.
you have teams that can show only retention side and they have
Yeah.
physicality about them, but that was what required on the day to get the job done. You understand me? So yeah, I think you have to watch it in a totality and get the information from what the players are capable of, and then you judge it based off that. But we
Hmm.
can see a lot of these teams like 80 and the other Caribbean teams and know that they can't play other ways, Jason, because we have watched them enough and we know that they can't play other ways.
Hmm.
That's all. That's why I've stuck on my statement, that education is important.
Yeah, and I think his point, yeah, Canada, US are good examples, and I do agree with them where they've added layers to what they can do. They added ball retention over the last 10 years, and that's the thing. You can't be a one trick pony when it gets to this level of football because it's how you adjust to the adjustments always. And I think for that, yeah, you want to see that more on the youth, but that comes down to what we started off with: more education, more of that IQ within the football space so that you can adjust, you can play. You can just play without having to think, where does coach need me to be? You can just play in a way where it's just, this is what we need to do based off what's happened to us on the pitch. So yes, good point there. Ross Thomas says Morocco U20 created history. They took 20 years to qualify for a World Cup, and they won it with a coach who was intelligent and the players buying into his plans. The whole country buys into the plans. They are what, the second or third African country that you win the U20s. Good for them. Prince Hood. Is anyone going to ask me how New Caledonia draw Japan?
The same thing that we're talking about.
They were in a low block and they defended well. When
But
you're
they
man of the
can
match,
play
yes,
out of the low block as
they
well.
can. Yeah.
We have to
Mhm,
give credit to that,
mhm,
because staying in a low block and stay organized, is one thing. But you have to can get that ball out of the low block, because or are
mhm,
you going to get anything, or are you going to create anything? They never just sit back and didn't do anything. Look at it. They came forward and tried to create. So they presented some threat, so they couldn't get caved in completely.
mhm.
But it was still a dominant. As they look at the numbers, it was still a dominant, But
Yeah.
at least it's not zero.
Listen,
And they
it
had
was
more entries than what the shots are. They had more entries
yes.
than what the shots are.
Most definitely. They actually, let me go to that chart there. I always like
Yeah,
looking
so
where they were.
you have to give them a
Yeah.
little bit of credit. Yeah,
hmm
they never just sat
hmm
and say they are gonna stay there the whole time. They try to, like, I think they what I was actually calling, like, every six minutes, which is
Yes.
long, to be defending, every six minutes. Then you try to keep a concentration, and that's what I
Yeah.
talk about, the coaching, the concentration, the level of concentration they had to use to keep that for 6 minutes, then try to break, because they're just waiting on the one weak link that
hmm
they have to exploit it. Yeah, bro, I love people. I'm gonna be watching a lot more of this. A lot more of these games, because you can see the pattern of plays in these
hmm
games, because it's like this is where the kids them learn or break.
Yes. And for a lot of these sides, like this is your first exposure against this high level of competition. And for New Caledonia, for a minute they were actually leading against Portugal. Like they had a lead, and then Portugal decided to Portugal. But if you watch the games, you're not surprised. It's a little bit shocking, but you're not surprised at this result because it. Yes, I do agree. I do agree with you there. I do agree with you there. But it comes down to, like, again, I like look at the heat maps of New Caledonia here, right? Though you're sitting back and defending, the amount of coverage that their nine is making tells you where they're at. Everyone else is very much staying in their spaces, but those are your two counter players, right? Your nine and your seven. So Kamenez and then Wesley, because I'm gonna butcher your name, right? Those are the players. Once they had the opportunity, it was those two who were pushing into spaces, whether it was trying to create, whether it was pressing to keep them honest. And yes, New Caledonia got lucky. They had two VAR decisions not go against them.
Yes,
Their
yes.
goalkeeper made all the saves that they needed to make. But credit goes where credit is due, and they defended well. And when they had to push in and create opportunities, they were dangerous and they kept them honest enough. Like, yes, the flow looks as dangerous as it is, where if you look at the attacking momentum, the first half is just Japan. And then that second half, there's a few moments here for New Caledonia. But they put out their system and that no. Like I have good numbers in Oceania. Okay, I'm not trying to ruin my numbers in Oceanic. Okay, I have good numbers there. But ultimately, you. This is why, like when we talk about like the U17 women at Nigeria, which is why I was disappointed with them this year. They normally have a plan every game and they're able to execute it. And this year they weren't able to, and that's the difference. And the maybe it's just the reality of this is where you're stuck with this coach and you have to have a new face or a new voice in the room. But there you go from there, and that's kind of where you're kind of left with. There you go. Carlos Forbes is the fastest. Is Carlos Forbes the
Yes,
fastest?
he's
Yes.
very fast.
Okay.
He's very fast.
Mhm.
But I think people, I, the reason why maybe people don't look at him as very fast,
Mm.
because he actually has trickery about him. That's what I
Mm.
like. So yeah, he's he's rapid, man. He's rapid.
Mhm.
But he's strong and skillful. I think he's one of the fastest players I've seen that can control, that relies on his speed so much, but
Mhm.
can control football as a technical player. I'm seeing a glitch.
Oh,
Like, the guy is moving so fast, but control the ball so good.
yeah.
I have never seen, like, I'm trying to remember, because Iron Robin was fast, but Iron Robin stops and play and control. He's going light speed and still control the ball. So he has some good skills. Good young kid coming through. Might rapidly rise to 30, 40, 50 million. I could easy see him at 50 million. He's a good. No, Doku doesn't control the ball in flight.
Mm,
You guys need to watch this kid. What he's doing, Doku runs with the ball. I'm talking about a man kick a ball and a man going light speed and control the ball, continuing going light speed. So he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. He's just in the same transition. I had to pull it up back 4 to 5. Did he really just do it? And he's beating players,
hmm
controlling the ball, running. I have never seen those.
It's a different animal. It's
Yeah, yeah,
certainly a
yeah, yeah. We
different
have to give
animal.
him his credit. Yeah, he's fast, man. He's fast, but it's not just the speed; it's just what he's doing with the speed, causing problems.
Hmm
And that's what education does. You use something that you're good at and amplify it to a level that people have to notice.
hmm No, that's true. That's true. So, as we wrap up this section here with the U17s, tomorrow's games, right? Czech Republic versus Burkina Faso, Uganda versus Chile, Mali versus Austria, France versus Canada. Yeah, that'll be a game. United States versus Tajikistan, Paraguay versus
Yes,
Panama,
Jason.
Saudi
Yeah, go ahead,
Arabia.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia
Listen,
versus New Zealand, and then Ireland versus Uzbekistan. Out of this slate of 8 games, is there any that you are saying, I know, club is playing, but let me keep this on another screen to kind of see how this
I
plays?
told you I'm going to watch U17 games.
Yep.
The only game maybe, yeah, you have Liverpool versus City. I might watch that one, but I want to watch Panama versus Paraguay because it's our region.
hmm
I definitely want to watch France Canada. Yeah, that's the one I want to watch. Yeah, I really want to watch that one. United States, we know they're gonna win that game, so
Yeah.
we have to give them credit. They do represent the region.
hmm
Yeah, they do represent the region, so I have to give United States credit. Yeah, they do represent the region good. So I might keep an eye on that, and because Tactical will be doing it, so I will keep an eye on it. But my 2 games that I want to watch: Panama versus Paraguay, and France versus Canada.
I mean, but due to contractual reasons, I have to watch France versus Canada. So I hope Princehood. I hope you're wrong. I hope it doesn't get ugly. If we get the Canada in the first half, I am concerned. I think the Ireland versus Uzbekistan game, again, Uzbekistan, they qualify for the World Cup. Their youth team has been low key good for the last few cycles. So I think that could be a fun game. Stylistically, I think that could be a very fun game to keep an eye on and watch. Czech Republic versus Burkina Faso as well. I Burkina Faso, they lose at the death versus the US 79th minute by Sullivan. So I do think Burkina Faso will turn around, and Uganda. I want to see if their game against Canada was a flash in the pan, yeah, or if it was something that they can build on because again, their senior team have looked good. So I'm hoping they can replicate that performance as well. But I think those three, Mali, I think they're taking Austria. I Mali to me, I feel very confident in them getting through. So I think those top 3 games in the top slate, I think that those are the games I'm looking at. Czech Burkina Faso versus Czechia, Uganda versus Chile, and then Canada versus France. And then later in the day, yes, no, but this is why I think that they just couldn't finish. Jason, Burkina Faso missed 7 billion chances. I do agree, and it's amazing because like they're all 6'2". How do you miss the chances? Just put a head on. I'm calm. I'm calm. Put a head on it. Just head it into the goal, guys. Put the ball into the goal. But I think yeah, Burkina Faso are gonna show well this tournament, and I think a 1-0 loss isn't the worst thing for you. If you have a point going into your final match day, you are looking good, and I think that is all you can look and all you can really ask for. From there, you just continue to build off of that. But yes, I think they could certainly look decent in their chances, though the frustration was there in Burkina Faso. Um, really quickly, I know it's in the title and we do need to talk about it really quickly here, or however long it'll take for us to do it. CONCACAF Players of the Year um, are chosen, and the Players of the Year were normally when this happens, JD, we're like, let's make our CONCACAF team of 2025. We'll do that on a later date. But thoughts on the two CONCACAF Players of the Year, Jonathan David and Melchi Dumornay as the players? Do you think we got it right here? Or do you think there's someone who should have made it on either side?
I think only Pulisic should have challenged Jonathan David this year. Um, but Dumani is not. It's not even a question. I don't even think you have anybody. Dumani, Dumani was one game away from talking about winning the Ballon d'Or. I know that a lot of people wouldn't want to hear that, but just beating that little Gunners little team and all would have been okay. But our team let her down because she still bust up the Gunners net 3 times in a row.
Mm.
You understand me? Yes. So so Raul had a good time, but Pulisic was ridiculous last season. And remember that's the time period that they used to calculate it,
Hmm.
Yeah, but Domane was exceptional. I don't think you have any ladies player. Bonnie Shaw is the closest player to her, and you would
Yeah.
say my girl from in midfield that play in our own team as well from in midfield. I forgot her name, but someone will tell me in the chat. But she was injured for a period and came back as well, so she was hot and cool. Yeah.
Hmm. Can she can win the Beat Gunners Ballon d'Or? Jeez. Listen,
Yeah, bad man. Yeah, bad man.
yeah,
Money, you never knew that.
right,
Superstar. Yeah.
right. Not mad about Joe David, Raul, and Pulisic were top. Yes, I think Joe David had probably the best both club and country year, even though for country they finished third at Nations League. They make the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup. So yes, I think Joe David, if Joe David makes maybe the semifinals, we're saying it's easier. The only issue I have, okay, actually, let's go to this first. Emily Fox out of Arsenal winning the Champions League,
Really,
but
Fox
Dumine
never.
deserve it.
Nah, not even close. Nobody on planet Earth saying that. Just an Arsenal fan will say those things.
I
Emily Fox bless ups though, but
mhm.
nah, nothing close to the big dog. You know.
Look, a Guatemalan player, they'd have to have a good thing. I mean, I always think about this in the perspective, say, of like a Canadian player, especially on the women's side, and I don't know who's had that year, so I'm not upset. But I do wonder, like,
Food.
this is where, like, yes, we see it.
I'm hiding my food. Yeah. Start every game for the CL team. She deserve a shout, but not over Melchi. Yes, Melchi is the
Totally agree.
best thing.
I think
Not
she.
Caicedo,
Well,
Caicedo is good too
Caicedo's
as
not
well.
in our region,
But
so it doesn't
Caicedo,
matter. Caicedo's not in our
Caicedo
region. Do you think she
I'm
can go
telling
back to back to back? Do you think Melchi wins it 3 straight years?
yes, of course. You don't have a Africans. How long I'm here telling people, blood, for you have no player in football better than this player for the last 4 years. No player. It's just sad. This to how good this player is, people think she's a man. You know, good you have to be Africans for people to think those things.
You have to be good. Man called Colombia.
Princewood, you put her in Barcelona, she scored 75 goals in 20 games.
Yeah.
20 games. And
Mm,
16 assists with 75 goals as well.
mm.
I am not people. I don't. Why am I? Why Africans? Is it I am just so versed in football for people never understand what is going on the field? Are people just bad mind other countries, and I'm just the only non-bad mind person? I
I,
have
you
been
know,
telling people.
yeah. She's well. You have been on. You've been on Duvernay for years. you've in the same way that I have been saying, yes, she's the best, but I think
Salma flop.
mm,
Africans, listen to him. He said, Salma flop JD. Why you not talk about that? Africans, I was the one hyping up Salma. Go back in history, Africans. What is wrong with this? Stop trying to sell propaganda, boy. Stop trying to sell propaganda, sir. All right, sir. Don't do it. Don't do it. I remember 3 years ago when you were talking about Salma Trackstar, brother. I never had high expectations of Salma. I say she's a good player because she continued to do it. And I never expected her to be this good. So don't tell any lie at me. Don't. That's not true. Because the first competition I watched her, I said I don't. I don't like when people rely on speed only. Don't. No, that's not true. That's not true. I had the next girl. I had Vicky. I was rating Vicky highly, and you had a number 9, and in that team that I thought would have reached further than Salma, but I gave her credit. So that tells people that I'm not a bad-minded person. If somebody that I don't rate highly still turn up did good, I am going to give her flowers because she did make the national team, and the number 9 never progressed to the national team at the time because that's what the national team wanted.
mm.
Don't play with me, man. Don't play with me, man. I don't pick big, fast, and strong players only. They have to have something about them. Why I go to pick them. You understand me? You pick and choose because Osimhen is your yes. Osimhen is my greatest player. All right, all right. Tell me that he doesn't have any touch. You tell me that your player at Arsenal is better than Osimhen. That's what you tell me. There is not one planet. I don't even. What's his name? What's his name at Arsenal? I don't even know. You know what? Let me not. I'm not gonna fight with this man. You know, tell me about your player at Arsenal better than Osimhen.
I was,
Africans, let me stay on topic. I'm not gonna argue with this, brother,
I
as I
was.
need to brush my food. Yeah. But it's good. It's good. It's good football talk. So I'm okay.
No, yeah, I was going to. Okay, yeah, we're gonna
Ah, oh God, this brother, Arsenal people. Oh God.
see what I wanted to. You know what? It's vibes. It's a Friday. It's vibing. People have
Oh,
their food. We're feeling good. What I wanted to ask you,
oh.
JD, is if you had to create a short list based off of the beginning of the 5-6 season, who are names you're looking at for CONCACAF Player of the Year, both on the men and women's? Because Jason does bring up a name that I think on the club level will get numbers on the women's side. I think
Yeah,
she,
you're play, yeah, man.
yeah,
Don't worry. I was going to say it, but I just know that I still think Dumane will be first, but yeah, Olivia will be there. We fought behind doors and the screen about Olivia. You thought that Olivia is the big deal as well. She better than Dumane. You had said that as well, but I think you stop saying it now.
hey,
So I agree, but let me add some more players to it. Let me have
mhm,
some more players to it because we have um a Saldivar, you think that she's gonna be in the conversation? Because sometimes what they do, they pick players from CONCACAF as well, and hype them
mhm,
up, when they are not on the same level as the rest of the players. So
mhm.
I have 2 players that doing well. The young player, the young striker for United States, she's a natural goal scorer, you know.
Yeah. So Saldivar from like U20s Mexico,
Yeah,
Saldivar.
that she's Mexican, but you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one more from
Mhm.
United States. Let me give you her. She
It's
did
not a
score.
Thompson
She
sister.
scored. She scored. No, not the Thompson sister. She scored. You know who I'm talking, man. She just broke out because she scored a whole heap of goals against Jamaica as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ali
she scored
Sentnor.
against everybody, everyone. You know her, man. I forgot her name.
I don't
Let
know,
me give you.
JD. I don't know. I watched their B
Yeah,
team.
Sentnor.
Sentnor. Oh,
Sentnor.
because I
Yeah.
was gonna say Michelle Cooper, because
No,
Cooper
Sentnor.
scored.
Cooper.
Okay.
Cooper went to U20s, then dropped off for a couple years, and then come back into the fray. But
Yeah, she's
Sentnor
yeah.
never dropped off none at all. Sentnor
Hmm.
just leave from U17s to 20 to national team, and that's how it is. And at this point, it looked like Sentnor just playing football. You understand me?
Hmm.
Um, Cooper, I like Cooper from around 2019, but she just dropped off for a few years. But Sentnor, you have to give her credit because Sentnor is what, around 19, right? Or
Yeah.
20? She
Oh, you're here too. Yeah, you guys have too many good players, Jason. If you want to just like, Lily is a good
But you
shout
ask
too.
we Africans, you ask we are
I
giving you
know, I know,
hints.
I know. Yeah, but see, but now I'm just having PTSD because they're the US WNTC team took Canada's A team on July whatever and said, you know what, dust you and go. And now I have. I'm like, can our kids do that?
Oh,
Really?
she's 21 now. She's 21 now. Um, February 22. Okay, okay.
So
But
Saldivar, you're going set.
Duvernay,
No, yeah, Doomer. Yeah,
yeah,
I
Duvernay
it's.
have
Mhm,
the sheet, but Sentnor is one of them that can rival her because when she play the Caribbean teams, she's gonna score 20. In each games, our runs are very good. I like it.
this is true. This is true. Yeah, I like that. I like that short list. I think Olivia there. I think Bunny will be there just because she'll always have the city production. And then Sentnor, Saldivar. Just is there anyone out? Like, is there a like? I feel like there's a name that's out there. That's somewhere that we're not thinking of. What happened? Etienne. Etienne. She went to PSG, or she
Etienne, yeah,
last.
Etienne just made a move.
Yeah.
She made a completed move, so give her a little time.
Hmm.
She's coming. She's coming. I don't think this year will be our full breakout year because obviously she have to adjust and learn and do much more backroom work before she come on the pitch. So you give her a
Hmm.
little time for her to work herself in. Maybe by the end of the year, but she's definitely a talent. She's definitely a
Hmm.
talent. I had two more. I had a midfielder. Um, she looked talented, but obviously you have to get opportunities as well. Yeah,
Hmm.
but they have a good amount of quality young players coming through.
No, they do, and it's if they can put it all together. Hopefully, you have some solid defenders and fullbacks there because that's if they can play well. JD Haiti, I've never worried about them offensively. Let's be very honest; they've always been
Yes, yes.
offensively
I That's why I laughed. That's
dangerous.
why I laughed. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh right, and then and then World Cup qualifiers is November for the women, so right after the World
Woo!
Cup, and that's it's going to be a thing. Canada, you have
I can't
10 months
wait.
to get your act together. You have
I
10
can't
months to
wait.
look good. Oh, it'll be something. Male shortlist for this year. Do you have any names instead of
Oh,
like the typical names?
Male
How about let's do
shortlist.
this? How about not a shortlist traditionally, but names that you shouldn't sleep on. Names that
Ugalde will be on it.
Ugalde. Yep.
Jonathan David will be on it. Um, mm, and then after it's a big drop off. It's a big drop off after that. Um, they might drop Raul back on it because he did good.
Hmm.
He did good for his country. So Raul will make the back end of it. Um, maybe Pepe might make it. Because he did came back into the United States team, did well, and then he's doing solid in Europe as well. So Pepe might go back in it. Which defender I could say you're putting it?
Hmm.
It's not so much players. Levi Garcia, I don't know if he's doing good for Trinidad. Um, he would have to do well in the Russian league.
Hmm.
Yes, or you could see that. Yeah, you don't have so much. I think I would have to take a good amount of time to really write them down, like to do a
Hmm.
top 10.
Uh,
Gilbert Mora is too.
yeah.
You think he's too young?
I don't look. We're not
Well,
saying
he
they're
make
going to
good
win, but we're
players,
saying
so
maybe a dark horse name that makes the list. That's not in your
yeah.
typical
Mora is
name.
like Mora is not 17 as yet. He's 16, same way, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he's 16. I check it. Mora is still 16, man. That kid play around 1,000 leagues in 10 months. Gold
He's
Cup,
done everything.
Youth Zero, Youth Two, Youth Four, national team, Mexican League. He might just win it, Roberto. He might just win everything because he's doing everything. And to be honest, he's performing. So it's not
Mm,
like he's not performing. He's actually performing. Super talented kid, man.
mhm.
Super talented kid. Doesn't look out of place anywhere he plays. You
Yes.
know?
And just turned 17 last month. But
Is
yeah,
he
I
playing?
think
I don't think. I think they rest
no,
him.
they didn't send him.
Just
They
they
didn't
told
send
him
him.
that
Yeah.
yeah. They told him to rest. They told him to rest because he wants to play too much.
I think the thought was they sent him to the U20s, but not the U17s. But I think they're gonna take him to the. They're gonna call him up. That was what the thought process I heard was. They would call him up for this window because that would make more sense to that. Because yes, at this point he'd be playing in everything. He'd be like a young Olivia Smith for
And
Canada.
I
You,
love that. I love
yeah.
that Africans. That means
Mhm,
he wants to play. He just wants to learn his craft.
mhm,
He ain't in no foolish style. Oh, you're a big baller. I made the national team. Why would I go down to U20s? Attitude and Africans is everything in life.
mhm.
I've seen people never even made national teams and saying U20 and U17s is too much. It's a step down for them, and they barely have sense.
It's a different world. It's a different
That kid
world.
is going to go places. I love that.
Mhm.
Love that,
No,
man. Keep it
definitely.
going, youth. You
Mhm.
know, I have Shamar Nichols on the bench for 2 years. God,
Oh, you know what?
I am 16 years
I
old.
might as well ask. How are you feeling about World Cup qualifiers? Because
Um,
that's coming up
um,
for you.
um, um, Africans, I want to eat my plate of food. My plate of food is nice. Let me introduce my plate of people. I have I got my food just a while ago. Nice rice, nice meat, and nice meat over here. Yeah, Africans holding up my food. My food process. I was about to say because he deserves a break. Okay,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I think those are. I think if there's a Canadian name that I would say that's outside the normal, I'd say maybe Nathan Saliba. He's playing the Belgian league right
Saliva.
now.
Okay.
I think he could have a solid season there, and then depending on what happens with midfielders, because to me, I think I want to go with a midfielder for Canada. So either him or
Hmm.
Kone. I think the midfielders
Oh
have
yeah,
been
Cone.
really good.
I forgot
Yeah,
Cone. I forgot Cone.
yeah. Those would be names that are outside of your typical, Jonathan David, Alfonso Davies type of names that you always hear around this. But yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, Pepe for US could be interesting because he'll always
Yes.
have the numbers based off the league he plays in, and if he all he needs to do is perform for the US, which at this point could be interesting. Nico Segur, is he the starting right back? Because I think Alistair Johnson with his two legs will have something to say about that. So I don't know if but that's a fair name outside. Um, way too early. Way too early. You know what? No, I won't make you do this because I'll keep you from your food. Oh, I know.
Yes. Yes. People will be back tomorrow, man.
Yes, we'll
Thanks
be
for
back at some
passing
point
through here.
tomorrow for sure.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to be watching the games. I will be watching Liverpool, Manchester City. You know, I know a lot of people. I will be watching it as well. Yeah, but I will be watching U17s equally. Yeah,
Hmm. That's true.
because
That's true. And
three persons call me and tell me, JD, the league already over. Africans, believe me,
listen,
league
I've
is
been
already
emotionally
over. I have
listen. I
never heard, I'm telling you, these human beings, God, please, if you know what you're doing, don't provide that team with a trophy. I will never be able to sleep.
well, I mean, while you're doing that, as I've been emotionally doing it, I think this is the year that I will be. I've been scouting the championship, JD, because
Yes, yes.
Wolves. What is a win?
Wolves
Wolves are
they will get
asking.
it right. They will get it right.
I'm tired of them doing this to me every year, where we start off terribly, and then come February, we find a speck of form, and then we survive, and then Everton is terrible too, so we don't get all the headlines, and then we make it, and then we do the same thing over and over again, and then we sell our best player to Chelsea or Man U, and then we keep doing it again. So yeah, so
Yes. Tolu
Tolu
is
is
there
gonna
to be
he's gonna
sold.
get
So
sold. He's
Tolu is
gonna get
gonna
sold
score
to Chelsea
20.
next year because
Yeah, yeah,
Chelsea will
but
buy
he's
him
gonna
for
score 20.
no reason. It's what
Yes, but
happens.
that's what I'm saying. So the 20 goals will save you. He's gonna have a burst out because Wolves is very good at that. You know, as soon as he gets it together, 20 goals. All right, 45 million. That's it. All right. So
Listen,
people,
yeah, we'll wrap
I
up there.
Africans kept me away from my food. You know.
Yes, I did, and come to Germany.
But I enjoyed this stream, so not a
Mhm,
problem at all. And I will be back tomorrow. I will be back on the channel, so if you want to see me, I'm
mhm.
always over here until Africans fire me. And I other people, but I am here, yeah, I am here, blood.
I
Not
don't think
just
you know
telling them.
how the paychecks work. I get mine from you. Yeah, you don't get. It's not the.
Oh,
I get mine from
I'm
you.
very
So,
sorry. I'm very sorry. I never remember,
so
Um, Sir, I
usually,
was on the road doing my business and I owed Africans to come in, so I had to come in, sir. So,
mhm,
man's next time I will try to do it longer. All right.
indeed.
All right.
All right,
So,
guys.
people, take care. Let me show you my dinner. My dinner is more Indian food. Looks nice. You have curry over here and you have some chicken here. Call it butter chicken, with some quality rice, yeah. And then my juice, banana with cherry and a little water.
It's just a
So
little
for man,
water.
when talk about healthy, I am drinking some water as well.
Or
All right, yeah. So yeah, so Africans, yeah, man. Bless up,
we'll
bless
wrap
up,
it up
bless
here.
up.
But no, India didn't make it, which is surprising as we sit through. Actually, I'll do a quick scan and then we'll go out for who is still where they are. If I There you are. All right. So standings really quickly going into the last group day. So Italy's leading their group, South Africa second, Qatar third, Bolivia fourth. Group B, Portugal leading, Japan, New Caledonia, and then Morocco. Group C, Croatia and Senegal with 4 points, and then Costa Rica and UAE with one each. Argentina leading with 6, 3, and then Fiji. People are feasting on Fiji in that group. Group E, Egypt and Venezuela leading. England at 3. Haiti technically are still alive, but I mean, emotionally they are not. Group F, Switzerland, South Korea, Mexico. Same thing with Cote d'Ivoire, still alive, but emotionally a little bit more life. Group G, North Korea, Germany, Colombia, and El Salvador. Everyone has a point, so you're still alive going to your final game. Group H, you have Brazil, who have done Brazil things, Zambia, Honduras, and then Indonesia. That last matchup, actually, Brazil versus Zambia, that'll be a fun matchup to see how they match up against each other. Group I, Czech Republic, United States, Burkina Faso, and then Tajikistan, they get going tomorrow. Ireland, Uzbekistan, Paraguay, and Panama. And then France in Group K over Canada, Uganda, and Chile. And then Mali on top with Austria. That game is tomorrow. Saudi Arabia, New Zealand playing for life as well. Guys, we'll be back with a rundown. Um, I know. But we'll wrap it up here, guys, and see you guys back on the channels as we go, and we'll stop right